Good morning. I want to talk about something that just came to my attention. I didn't quite understand it until like yesterday, actually, to be quite honest. And that is the way that narcissistic or narcissists handle rejection, especially in friendship or romantic relationship settings. And the thing is that you may have had somebody react in an like over the top way to rejection, where basically they started treating you some sort of way, and they rallied up the troops as all narcissists do, and had people like coming up against you for no reason other than the fact that you didn't want to date them, or you didn't see a friendship developing between the two of you. And so I always, you know, had, well, I didn't always have, because that sounds very narcissistic, but they always go, you always, or you never. But I can remember times in my life where I had experiences where I had rejected someone because, like, let's just put it this way, my most recent experiences with narcissistic people, I was healing from like being narcissistically abused in a marriage, and so I needed some time to heal, so I wasn't interested in seeing anybody. But instead of the narcissistic people understanding that, that there's like open wounds and this and that and the other, they instead took it as, being a affront to who they are and their value as a person. So with the covert narcissist, I noticed that there were some passive aggressive tendencies with this particular individual by running hot and cold, and you know, and then also you could tell that this individual was talking about me behind my back to their friends because of the way that their friends would treat me. And then it got to the point where the friends saw me as a whole person that I am not, because the narcissist had painted me in such a way that they never really cared to get to know me because they were really good friends with the covert narcissist. With the overt narcissist, I didn't want to sleep with this person, and they would make comments about this particular subject matter, and then I noticed they would punish me. Sometimes they would give me the silent treatment. We were supposed to be good friends, and then sometimes they would just outright tell me that, sometimes I hate you, and then as I started recognizing what I was dealing with, I kind of upped the ante. So I had to deal with, like, being ostracized and isolated in the community that I was born in a lot of times, because most people don't really understand why somebody would just go out of their way to just say, like, I don't even know what they said about me, but just like, say things about somebody to isolate them and to get people to not want to be around them. But then they would come around again, because they would observe, like, I would never do anything out of the ordinary. I always, had integrity. I'm always kind, respectful, and authentic with people. And so the narcissist would then find other avenues. And so I had like multiples of these, but I didn't realize that was what it was. I used to just think that some of these women just had a really bad, response to rejection. I didn't put two and two together that there was a whole different layer of this, because they do petty things, and then, like, anybody that you talk to, they observe, they monitor everything you do, and they have their friends monitor you. So their friends also become like part of the troops to go and like inform people not to talk to you, not to associate with you. And there was another one. I'd known her for over 20 years. I never was interested in her, and she was just she's not only because she's highly promiscuous, but she's also highly narcissistic and like just very like cruel, and she treat people and this and that and the other. Just not attracted to her. So she also was in on that, and so this community, everybody's kind of, knows of everybody. So there are a lot of narcissistic people in the community, especially the LGBTQ community where I come from, and it's sort of normalized. They don't really take the time to really get to know people. They already, have like a caricature of who they want you to be, and if you don't fit into that, that's another issue. And I wish it wasn't so, but the other thing too is that, I hate to say this, but a lot of those people were caught up in addictions like alcohol and drugs and things like that. And I used to only relate to them because I hung at the same bars that they did, so I drank. But I quit drinking a couple of months ago, and I quit smoking cigarettes, and I quit smoking marijuana, and so I stopped coming around too. Like it was Christmas. I just, they had thrown me some major shade, but I had already been thinking about it because I'm moving my life in a different direction. I only got one life, and so God has a plan for me. How was it? Jeremiah 29:11. So I just, God said, come from amongst them, and I didn't have to say anything. I just knew that we were no longer had any, like, not even like the tiniest bit of a thread connecting us. So I just got out of there. But narcissistic people are very cruel when they don't get their way, because they really are like toddlers, and they don't handle rejection well. And that's one of the things that the narcissistic people would keep saying, was something along like, I don't handle rejection well. So they'll say things like out loud sometimes, but they'll like direct it at something else, but they're really like, when they're talking about things in your presence, they're really directing it to you. When they have like sort of like these like complaints, they're really actually directing it towards you. But others are so passive aggressive. Most narcissists are cowards when it comes to communication, so they don't really like to communicate directly, because they like to hide behind plausible deniability, and so it makes it safe for them to deny any sort of accountability if you confront them directly about things that they've said, or different behaviors. And I remember like a couple of years ago when I was like, I'm gonna finish my degree, because I only had a couple of classes, go find a church, get out of this whole lifestyle. Like, narcissists were really upset about that. They first told me that they couldn't accept me in this new capacity, which is good, because I knew exactly, I had another case as to why I need to get away from these people. And the narcissists would try to sabotage my efforts by either like doing things like, like they knew that like beer and shots, so like if you drink and you're not going to do anything the next day because you're going to be too hungover to function. So I stopped on prey to all of that. So I realized that I need to just like just be okay with like just like being in the wilderness and like not having people around, especially if they're not going to be of good quality, if they don't have your best interest in mind. Because I needed to just like burn all of that off, because birds of a feather flock together, and I wasn't even enjoying my social interactions because I'm not anything like these people. I didn't have anything in common with them. But just look at some of these interesting signs. Like, you reject a narcissist, you'll know they're narcissists by the way they respond to rejection. Normal people, they'll be like, well, there's other people out there, like we're just not compatible, or whatever it is. They don't go and make it their goal to destroy you, and to destroy you socially, financially, psychologically, emotionally. Normal people don't do that. Narcissistic people do. And they're so compelling as far as like building a case against you, because they're so good at acting and pulling on the crocodile tears and telling these like very animated tales of how you are the perpetrator to oppressing them and doing things that we don't even. It's just crazy. It's crazy, but that's just a part of the spiritual warfare that we deal with in the world. And it's also happening at the top too, in terms of like the helping fields, like the way that they're looking at mental health, for example. But that's another thing. But I just wanted to get on here and talk about how these narcissistic people, they really don't do well with rejection. So beware. And if you notice people are like running away from you, like you have the plague, just know that this narcissist unfolds. It's been all day. Have a good one.